Welcome to Freedom Hub, where people meet and peace becomes profitable. Have you ever thought about that? Peace becoming profitable? How does it feel and how does it sit inside of you today? And if it sits a little bit uncomfortable, this message is for you. This is something that a lot of my clients battle with, and it's something I personally have battled with for a very long time without understanding why. Have you ever had that moment where you either too productive or underproductive? You have a planner or a goal setting or a vision board or a something, a task list, and you go, this time it's going to work. And your digital planner just fades into the darkness. Your normal planner just fades away. You start it out, and then over time, it starts fading. Well, I think for most people, we've actually been in these shoes. But what I want to tell you today is perhaps looking a little bit deeper into why this happens is going to be the catalyst that actually creates a whole new momentum for you that's going to really have you feel that freedom that we all after. So today, what I want you to think of is not only the thing that's happening, but what is happening in your nervous system. Now, you might have heard some of this talk before, but I want to today explain that your brain is an excellent organ. And the reason I say this is it has one function, and that function is to keep you safe and alive. And how it does that is it works on a predictability level. So it predicts. In other words, if I do this thing, it's going to predict something. If somebody says something, it predicts something else. If I feel a certain way, it predicts something. If I remember the past, it creates a prediction for the future. Your brain is predictive, and there's nothing you can do that is going to take the predictiveness away. But what we can do is program how it predicts. Does it predict from a familiar past, or does it predict from something you are creating in your future? And that's where the real work starts to we start working on this work. And I'm telling you now, if you are going to take the next few minutes to listen to this, to integrate it, to hear it and apply it. Most people just hear, they don't apply it. If you can apply this, this is going to change your life forever. So we often see burnout, right? And what is burnout? What does it do? Think about what it does to your nervous system. Don't just think mentally what it did to you. If you've ever experienced that, or a traumatic event, or something unpleasant that happened to you. Now, if you think about it like that, it activates within you into your nervous system. And that kind of memory imprints into the subconscious mind. Now, how that works is if you have a strong event with a strong emotion, right, that creates a belief. Now, that belief is stuck in your subconscious mind. Now, from that belief and the big event and the feeling that you had, that is the thing that becomes predictable whenever your brain is thinking into the next level. So if somebody says to you, do you want to make $10,000? And you go, and then automatically make meaning like, oh, this is a scam, or this is a this, or that is that, or that. It comes from a specific place of a big event and a feeling attached, or something that we learned as young people in our lives. And that's why it becomes a little bit more tricky now when you're wanting, you say, but I want to make $10,000 a month. All of a sudden now you're thinking to yourself, what? Like how? Because something inside of me feels tight and something feels wrong. Now you hear big words like manifestations, like the N word right now, but it doesn't matter, or goals, or whatever you're talking about. Let me tell you something that I learned in this journey. You cannot manifest or goal orientate from a place of a nervous system that feels unsafe. If it feels unsafe, if it's not calm, it is not coming I don't care how many times you affirm. I don't care how many times you write it in your book. If your nervous system is activated and doesn't believe into it and is not calm and feels constricted and anxious, it cannot. In fact, it can actually bring the opposite of what you're actually wanting into your life. So what we want to do is we want to look at what events, let's just use a work environment, because for most of us watching here, we kind of have this home balance, and we got the work balance, and then the parenting balance, and we got all of this stuff going on and all these balls that we juggle. But you can actually do this for each section of your life. So if you look at the nervous system, what it does, look at things like, let's say we're in our work day, and now we get into a fight response. How does that even look in a day to day? People say all the time, fight, flight, fawn, all of these words. You've heard it before. Now, as advanced life support paramedic, I understand this too well in a more emergency situation. But I had to go and learn this into the daily activity. Like, what does that mean in my work life? And you don't think it's bad because you think emergency, right? You think, oh, there's this thing and I'm running away, or I'm fighting, or I'm freezing, like, oh, this thing. But it shows up more subtly in the workspace. And it could be something like, if I'm fighting, you might find this in what's happening in your life at the moment. You might be having that sense of urgency in you, that fighting urgency, that overproductivity, like, oh, I need to do this, like quickly grab the planner and make 100 to-do lists, okay? And it often comes with that mentality, I'll rest later. This person's very busy, 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 busy all the time, right? So that is the fight mechanism of the nervous system that is actually activated. Now, the second part to this is the flight. And this is a little bit more subtle. It doesn't feel like running away, but it is weird in its own. Like, I start a project, I'm not finishing it. Like maybe this book, right? I started my journal, I don't carry on with the journal. I started my planner, I didn't. I had made my vision board, I look at it once or twice and forget about it. Okay, think about this carefully, what's happening in your nervous system here. And then what I want you to do is think about how many times you jump from tool to tool to tool. Nowadays, if you're going from this to that to the other, they just call it ADD. I want you to think about this for a second. So in other words, it is scattered all over the place. We started, we don't stop. We're in this program, then we're in that program. It's very up and downy, if I want to call it that. And then the last one is the freeze. And this is where procrastination happens. This is where I'm looking at things and I'm just going like, this is scary. Like, this is overwhelming. It feels overwhelming and it's big and and I just don't want to deal with it, right? This is, if you've ever done this, you just scroll for hours on your device and you're just scrolling and scrolling, right? And you're avoiding something that is often the freeze response, and that's how it shows up in work. So I want you to just sit for a moment and go, where do I feel things are urgent? Where do I feel like I'm overproductive, like doing too much, or I'll rest when I'm dead, that saying. Or where do I sometimes feels like I'm jumping from one to the other, I'm not quite finishing a product, then I'm doing this and I'm finishing that, then I'm there, then I'm here, then I'm there, then when am I procrastinating, when am I numb, when am I scrolling, that kind of thing. But ultimately, you might find that you just stuck with one or one more predominant, or you might have all three. As in my case, it was all three. And yes, some more predominant than others. But everybody goes, oh, you got a nervous system that's activated. And then you sit and wonder, okay, so how do I unactivate a nervous system? And I want to tell you, it's all got to do with your feelings. And you're going to go, oh, feelings, I don't even know, I don't want to go there. It makes it worse. The problem is, it's the feeling that got you there, the big event with a feeling that got you there, right? You need to create a safe space for that feeling, for the nervous system to feel safe enough for you to be able to carry on into whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. So what does this look like? It's no more forcing, and it's allowing to feel safe before I do anything. So you ever walk into your office and if you just feel like, oh, one day's good, one day's bad, I'm always walking on eggshells, like I'm over giving, I'm overdoing, like I just, like if I'm the pack donkey, somebody just comes and puts everything on me and everybody else is sitting doing nothing and their salaries are bigger than mine. And that is your nervous system. And that is super active right now. And then people say to you, oh, go and do this course and learn that thing. And then they say to you, oh, but if you use this manifestation technique, then it's going to work. And then they say, go and learn more on this. I want you for a moment to feel this with me. This is getting out of your head and this is getting into your body. I need you to start feeling right now. When you start feeling, this is where things start changing, because that was the reason you got in there, like I said earlier. But what I want you to do is I want you just for a moment, take a deep breath and just feel it with me. Take a deep breath and let it all out. All the stress, all the thoughts, all the people. Just breathe it out and do it. And I want you to just feel what's happening in your body. And I want you to breathe in again and breathe everything out. Every problem, everything that's been on your mind, every email, every client, every home circumstance, just breathe it out for a second. You need to try and get to a place where you feel normal without carrying any weight. If you find that you have been carrying a lot of weight or life just feels heavy, or if you find that, man, I don't know, it's like I'm walking on eggshells, I'm giving too much, like you have learned that you are the system carrying everything. If you are the system that's carrying everything, my question is, who's carrying you? That who's carrying you, like I've got everything, I feel like I always have to be in control, like things are tough, like if I don't do this thing, or if I feel numb and I don't want to do the thing, and that's overactive somewhere, I want you to ask yourself this question: who's carrying my nervous system? You have been carrying big systems. We spoke about it in last week's video, right? Where we said the bridge that's supposed to carry you, the car, you have switched around in your mind, and you, the little car, is carrying the bridge. Now, how long can you do that for? You'll eventually burn out. See where they start attaching together? You start burning out. So when you feel pressure, I want you to release the pressure. I want you to start thinking, because as long as there's pressure and as long as there's nervous system activation, you will always predict into a negative outcome, a negative plan, a negative thing. It's very difficult to do that. But now what I want you to do is let's feel the opposite, so that you actually see the difference, that you're not just hearing it, you can feel it, right? If you are in a process where you are in a very calm state, nice shower, that usually works, and you suddenly hit this brainwave, where did that come from? You have this massive idea that gives you a big kick of momentum. It didn't come from the past, right? It came from a state of relaxing. This is why often you have life coaches tell you, get bored, go and get bored, go on holiday, get bored, just rest, right? And it's because what is happening is you are softening your nervous system. Once the nervous system's not so uptight anymore, it's got some breathing room. Now, as you relax, now you can take the next step. The ideas come, because you're not working from a prediction model. Now you're working from an implementation, a soulful, it's like, this is what I was meant to do model that has got nothing to do with your nervous system. And that's why you have this boost of inspiration, and for the next 24 hours you work yourself silly on it, and people will write it down before I forget the idea, right? Is because of that calm nervous system. So feel it again. Feel yourself thinking about something tense right now. Anything tense, doesn't matter what it is. It could be something small. And breathe it out. Why do you think breathing is so popular? Because it calms the nervous system. Why do you think certain frequencies of music so popular? It calms the nervous system. Why do you think talking it out is so popular with your friend or a coach or a mentor? Why? Because it calms the nervous system. And now, instead of working from a prediction model, you're working from a soulful model or something that's more aligned, that's not activated by that nervous system that's been controlling you all this time. And that is how you start learning how to not let your nervous system run you, but you start to use your nervous system for growth and building. So the question isn't about how do I get more done, which most people think. The question is, what inside me needs to feel calm and safe for me to move forward in this motion? And this is something that very few people talk about, because, and I want you to try this out. If you have a deadline and you feel that tension inside, it's usually from an old prediction model. I want you to breathe it out, go and walk in nature again. Why walk in nature? That's another tool that you can use, is because it calms the nervous system. If you're in nature, you're walking, you're calming the nervous system. Now, for the brave few of you that's out there, we often say that the best way to do this is feel the feeling completely till it's gone. Most of us, when our mind is predicting something bad, right, what we do in that moment is we tense up, we freeze up in that moment. And now what we're sitting with is, I'm not calm, I'm freaking out, things are bad in that moment. And now what I want you to do is, I want you, instead of, this is what the person does, they push it away and they go and do something else. So the feeling doesn't keep feeling. Does that make sense? The feeling doesn't feel anymore. What we do is we push it away. What I want you to do is the exact opposite. I want you to go and feel the feeling. Because when you let the feeling express, and it is safe to express, guess what happens with your nervous system? It calms. But for most of us, we're layering more and more and more and more and more of that on top of ourselves. And this is the very thing that creates more of this pressure in this nervous system, more of that response of fight or flight or freeze. It creates more of that. But if it was as simple as I could just work through the feeling and feel it, could that help? Now, there's so much information on this, and if you start down this rabbit hole, you are going to be surprised. So, if all the old traditional ways haven't worked for you, you've done all the courses, you've tried all the manifesting principles, you have worried, you have sat on it, you have tried positive thinking till it came out of your ears, and still it is not working, go and investigate your nervous system. And that is what we do here. Hence, I can say the word. Peace becomes profitable, because when you have peace, your old predictive mind is replaced by growth mindset. It is not in that old fixed way of thinking anymore. But it takes, for the very few that's actually going to do the work, and it's not going to be many of you, it takes for the few of you that's actually going to feel the feeling, understand why it's there, like look at it, like deeply go in and calm that nervous system to feel safe enough to do the thing that you're going to do. Then that's when it starts working for you. Then it's not like I need willpower and I need more productivity and I need this app and then it comes automatically from self. Now you're building and you're excited to build and you're just doing day by day and you get excited and you're working at stuff. And this is what makes this work so, so, so incredible. And this is what we do in step 1 in our work. We sort out the B as the person. We've spoken about this before. And then only when this is calm, then we go to the systems. Now you start building with a system that works for you, not perhaps the whole world, but for you, you understanding something. And from that system, you are always working with your nervous system. You have got a system in place for your home life, your business life. You've got systems carrying you. You're not carrying systems anymore. And then it becomes easy to automate and delegate that work. Now, if you add automation to that work, now to the system, you end up with a B, build, automate. And now you have a full picture that feels calm, that feels good, and guess what? Gives you freedom. If you want to know more, details are below. Go and have a look. Connect with us. Write in the comments. Get things going. Speak about it because this is spoken but not spoken. So today, your only homework is feel, feel what you're feeling. This is such a great indication of what your nervous system's doing. I always say that. Don't worry about your feelings. Your feelings are there to tell you what's happening in your nervous system. Your feelings are super important. It is important to know what's going on there because without knowing what's going on there, you can't resolve it. You can't have calm. You can't have peace. And it becomes an uphill battle rather than an easy roll into life. So feel. If it means you have to do a worry dump for 10 minutes, writing it down in a journal, do that. If it means just feeling the feeling without the reason why you're feeling it, just feel the feeling and just breathe through the feeling till the feeling goes away. It's another tool. It doesn't matter the tool. It matters that you're calming your nervous system. So if you want more tools, you want to know from there, like the mindset part of it, the B, the act, the nervous system work, all of that stuff, get in touch with us. Then we build the system. Then we teach you how to automate it all. So you got even more peace, even more things that you can just go, oh, now it becomes profitable. So with that in mind, go and practice having your nervous system regulated. See you next time.